You're standing in the TV aisle. There's a 6.5-inch 4K smart TV staring back at you. It looks incredible. The picture is stunning. The price tag is somehow $379. You think this must be a mistake. You're getting away with something. You're not. That TV is going to sit in your living room looking fine for about 8 months. Then the backlight starts bleeding from the corners. Then a firmware update bricks the remote. Then the streaming apps start crashing mid-episode. And one day, without warning, the screen just goes dark. And when you call for help, you're going to get a recording, a ticket number, and a very polite explanation that your warranty doesn't cover. This is what's happening to millions of people right now in 2026. And the worst part? These TVs are still bestsellers. They're still sitting on end caps at Walmart and Best Buy with bright yellow sale tag 5-star review stickers that were printed by the manufacturer. So today, we're going through the 7 smart TV you should never buy in 2026 with real models, real prices, and real failure data. And at the end, we'll cover 2 that are actually worth it. Stay for those. They might change how you think about buying a TV entirely. Let's go. The Vizio V4K75M 0804, 75 inches, $428 at Walmart. On paper, it sounds like the bargain of the decade. On paper, Consumer Reports gave this TV a score of 41 out of 100. That is the lowest score in the entire 70-inch and above category. Not bottom half, not lower tier, dead last. Here's what that actually means when you're sitting on your couch watching it. Despite advertising HDR support high dynamic range, the feature that's supposed to make colors pop and dark scenes look cinematic, the TV doesn't have anywhere near the brightness required to actually deliver that. Consumer Reports tested it and found the peak brightness so low that HDR content looked no different than standard non-HDR. You're watching the Batman on a TV that advertises a cinematic experience, and what you're getting is a flat, grey, washed out picture with no depth. And this isn't one model problem. Consumer Reports specifically singled out the whole Vizio brand as the consistently lowest scoring lineup, while not even being the cheapest option available. The V435M K04, the VFD32M 0807, the V555 Y01. One reviewer called the audio on that last one barely acceptable for regular TV watching and said the shortcomings would be obvious with movie soundtracks and music. You're paying for a TV, you're getting a monitor. The Vizio VFD32M 0807, 32 inches. Budget price, looks harmless. Consumer Reports ranks it near the bottom of its entire 3.2-inch category. Here's the specific problem. This TV doesn't have 4K. It doesn't have native HDR. It runs at full HD only, which means that 4K content from Netflix, Disney Plus, or any streaming service will downscale on your screen. You're paying for the smart TV experience and not getting a single piece of what makes smart TVs worth owning in 2026. The backlight has no local dimming, which means the blacks look grey, washed out across every scene. Viewing angles are narrow enough that if you're not sitting dead center in front of it, the picture shifts noticeably. Reddit users on the TV Repair forum posted videos of the image rendering slowly and pixelating during normal use. Most people don't know this. When a TV lacks local dimming, there's no fix, no setting, no calibration. You can't update your way out of it. That's a hardware limitation baked into the panel before it ever left the factory, and they sold it to you anyway. Here's where things get interesting and a little uncomfortable. The Samsung U7900F. That's right, Samsung. The same brand people trust. The same logo that gives people confidence. The 50-inch model sells for $230. The 85-inch goes up to $700. Artings.com reviewed this TV and called it their words, a poor TV, not mediocre, poor. The reason, it struggles in bright rooms because of glare issue, and it struggles in dark rooms because the black levels are so weak that the screen looks washed out in most scenes. Both environments, both use cases, failing, and just like the Vizio, it advertises HDR. But Consumer Reports found the brightness levels don't meet the threshold required to actually render HDR content properly. So that HDR TV label on the box, marketing, not performance. Now, to be clear, Samsung makes excellent TV. The S95F OLED is one of the best TVs you can buy right now. But the budget tier of Samsung is where shortcuts get made. And this particular model is where Samsung takes the shortcuts that betray the name front. The logo is the same, the engineering is not. If you see a Samsung in the $230 to $400 range, be very careful. The name is not a guarantee. The model number is everything. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, so it's just the ultra budget stuff. Stay above $500 and fine, right? Not exact, because the next one on this list costs $1,700. The TCL 75A300W, $1,700. That is not a type. $1,700 for a 7.5-inch smart TV, and Consumer Reports gave it a 53 out of 100. At that score, it ties with budget TV that cost roughly $550. Walmart shelf TV, Costco clearance TV. TCL markets this as an art TV similar concept to the Samsung frame, designed to display artwork and photography when you're not watching content. The idea is elegant. The execution is not. The picture quality you're getting for $1,700 is objectively matched or beaten by TVs at a third of the price in TCL's own lineup. The problem with art TVs in general is that they're priced on concept, not performance. You're paying for the idea of the product. And when you sit down to actually watch something, the picture quality reminds you very quickly that you bought a display that was optimized for hanging art, not for doing what a television is supposed to do. For $1,700, you could buy an LG C-Series OLED. The gap in real-world performance between those two choices is in. Don't let lifestyle marketing talk you out of your. The Toshiba 75C 350KU. Here's a name that used to mean something. Toshiba, Japanese heritage. Decades of engineering credibility. That Toshiba doesn't exist any. The TV division was acquired by Hisense in 2017 and is now manufactured under license, meaning what's on the box is not what's in the box. Consumer Reports puts Toshiba's owner satisfaction score dead last among budget smart TV brands. Dead last. And their brand reliability score sits firmly in the bottom. The specific model problems on the C350 series, light bleed that shows up as white patches around screen edges, visible artifacting during fast motion. That's when the picture breaks up and turns blocky, and HDR that once again can't hit the brightness required to actually work. The 75C350L also lacks VRR, which means if you have a gaming console and you try to use it for anything faster than casual gameplay, you're going to see frame drop and screen tear. Toshiba was acquired, so Hisense could use the brand name to sell TVs at higher price points than Hisense could command on its own. You're paying the Toshiba premium. You're getting Hisense budget component. That is the whole story. The ON 1000444717, 75 inches. Walmart's house brand. Roku TV built-in. Consumer Reports rated this the single lowest scoring TV in their entire 7.5-inch category ranking. Among every TV tested at that size, this one came in last. The Roku TV software inside it is genuinely good. That part isn't the problem. The problem is the hardware underneath. The panel is underpowered. Contrast is weak. Brightness is below what you need for a room with any amp light, and the build quality showed. Owners describe the picture as fine for the first few months, then a slow and steady decline, backlight unevenness creeping in, motion blur that gets progressively worse, a sluggishness in the interface that wasn't there on day one. Walmart is not in the business of making great television. They're in the business of selling them. The ON brand exists because the margins on a house brand are better than the margins on a Sony. For Walmart, not for you. If you want Roku TV software, and it is good software, put it on a TCL. You'll pay a little more. You'll get a television that actually lasts. And the one that surprises people the most, the Sharp 7.5-inch class. Any current model sold in North America. Sharp is another legendary name. Founded in 1912 inches Japan, a century of electronics heritage. But here's what most people don't know. Sharp's TV brand name for North America was sold to Hisense in 2015. What you're buying when you buy a Sharp TV in the US is a Hisense TV in a Sharp box. Consumer Reports puts Sharp in the bottom half for both brand reliability and owner satisfaction. Artings notes that viewing angles on Sharp panel shrink to around 25 degrees off-center before picture quality degrades visibly, meaning if you're watching with multiple people on a couch, and not everyone is, perfectly centered, some of you are watching a noticeably worse picture. Here's the brutal part. You can walk into the same store, see a Sharp TV and a Hisense TV side by side at nearly the same price, and the Sharp logo alone might make you think it's the safer choice. It isn't. It's the same manufacturer, sometimes the same panel, and you'd be paying extra for a name that hasn't reflected actual Sharp engineering in over a decade. Okay, two that are genuinely worth your money. The LG C-Series OLED. The C4 and C5 models at 65 inches run between $1,100 and $1,499, depending on where and when you buy. That sounds like a lot until you understand what you're actually getting. OLED means every pixel produces its own light and can switch off completely. That gives you perfect blacks, not grey black, not deep dark, actually black, and a contrast ratio that no LCD or LED TV at any price can. Colors are accurate out of the box, to a degree that most brands charge for calibration to achieve. The WebOS platform is fast, intuitive, and supported with updates consistent. Longevity data shows LG OLED panels holding up for 7 to 10 years with normal use. The C-Series is the sweet spot, not the entry-level LG where they make compromises, not the flagship where you're paying for diminishing returns. It's the model where LG puts their best work at a price that's accessible. Compare it to the Vizio that fails in 18 months, or the Toshiba that costs $600 and scores 53 out of 100. You're not spending more, you're spending one. And the second one, the TCL QM6K or QM7K series. These are TCL's mini LED models in the $600 to $900 range, and they represent the best picture quality available in that price bracket period. Mini LED means thousands of tiny LEDs behind the panel, organized into independent dimming zones. When a dark scene plays, the zones behind the dark areas dim or turn off. The result is dramatically better contrast than standard LED TVs and noticeably richer color. You're not getting OLED black level, but you're getting genuinely impressive performance for the money. Consumer Reports lists TCL consistently in the top tier for budget brand reliability. The Roku TV platform inside is the easiest smart TV interface on the market, fast, well supported, and updated regularly. Setup takes minutes. Apps work, firmware doesn't brick the remote. For anyone spending between $600 and $900 on a television in 2026, the TCL QM6K, QM7K is where your money should go. Here's the decision framework, as simple as it gets. Under $600, if you're truly budget constrained, look at TCL's 5 series with Roku and understand you're compromising panel quality. Between $600 and $900, TCL QM6K or QM7K. Above $1,100, LG C-Series OLED, and don't look back. And the rule that applies across all of it: ignore the brand name on the box, check the model number, check Consumer Reports, check Artings. Because in 2026, the name on the front of the TV tells you almost nothing about what's inside. Toshiba isn't Toshiba. Sharp isn't Sharp. And a Vizio with a 41 out of 100 score will still sit on a Walmart shelf with a bestseller badge next to it. The most expensive TV you'll ever buy is the cheap one you have to replace in 2 years. Subscribe if you want to keep making smarter decisions with your money, because the next video breaks down exactly which models to buy within each brand, and a few traps hiding inside the good brands too. Drop a comment and tell me which TV you're currently running. I want to know what people are actually living with.